To all of you, all CMA Foundation students. I hope you're all doing very well. We have in your paper one, as a part of economics, you also have something called management. Okay, so as a part of that management lecture, I want to give you the introduction of the first lesson. This is going to be useful for you to revise before you go for examination. And all of you, I advise you listen to these classes with a proper infrastructure. That is, if in case you have an option to listen to these classes by laptop, that is better. If in case you have a desktop, that is more better. If in case you don't have these two facilities and you want to listen to these classes by phone, Android, make sure that you have headphones and take a notebook and keep writing. And this material which I'm showing you on the screen is going to be shared with you, and you can take a printout if in case you have an option to take a printout. If in case you don't have an option to take a printout, I don't think so, everything, at least for a printout, you can definitely go out and take a printout. Take a printout and make sure that you listen. This is a modified note specially for the sake of revision of management. Those who are writing in September, this will help you a lot. Okay, so management, all topics I'm going to cover now. This introduction class, so make sure that you try to understand and focus on the concepts. If in case there are any terms that are very difficult for you to understand, please let me know. Okay, so when I'm explaining, I will not be visible to you, and if in case you want to see me, that's a different story. I keep coming back. Okay, so now look at the introduction. So look at the material, and when I'm explaining, you don't have to focus on me, you focus on the board. Assume that it is a board only, and the notes is already trimmed and adjusted, modified in such a way so that you can easily understand this. Okay, everybody clear? If in case you think my English is little fast, what you can do, simple logic, this is a recorded lecture, so you just go back and rehear once again. That will help you a lot. Okay, 3-4 times, instead of making me to repeat this for several times, you just go back, take a pause button, and start rehearing. Okay, let's now introduce this paper. See, this paper main objective is to provide fundamental knowledge to the student, basically about management. So you must have found different organization. The organizations could be anything, could be partnership firm, could be sole trade, or could be company, could be private company, could be public company, could be limited liability partnership. You must have already studied different types of organizations. Whatever it may be, any organization, understand slowly, any organization, you will find somebody called manager. You will find somebody called manager who's actually managing operations. The moment you think about operations, you will obviously think about production. It could be marketing, it could be sales, it could be transportation, it could be packing, packaging, it could be any functions that are usually conducted in the company. Okay, so remember one thing, I have a manager in the company, and this manager has the function of taking care of operations. That means whether production is done properly or not, whether goods are exported properly or not, whether goods are produced properly or not, whether people are working properly or not, etc., etc. So basically, he has certain things to do. Understood? Being a manager of a company, I have certain things to do. I have to ensure that company runs smoothly. So what do? I use men, I use material, I use money. I repeat, being a manager, I will use resources such as, being a manager, I use resources such as men, human resource, money, you know that, material, you know that, machines, right? You know these 4 M's. I use men, I use material, I use machines. Understood? So both human resources, non-human resources, I will try to use and make sure I get things done. So there are two differences. In every organization, you must have heard two important words. One is a manager, the other one is a leader. Leader is a person who motivates people to do something. He doesn't do anything. He only motivates, he inspires people, he makes sure that people are driven to do something. But manager job is different. Manager job is basically to ensure, by using existing resources such as men, material, machines, understood? By using existing resources, he has to get things done. Understood? Suppose we need to produce goods. To produce goods, we need raw material. So he has raw material, he has men. he has machines, he has money. So using money, using machines, using men, he makes sure or he ensure that the production is done. So in any organization, there are so many activities. To do all these, you need to get these things done. If you want to get these things done, you need resources. So what is management? I want to tell you in a simple language, management is all about getting things done with the help of existing resources such as men, material, money, machines. Understood? So here, though they did not use very clearly. So here you see, management is getting management is getting work done through people, that is men, with the help of resources. Understood? But in reality, management could be developing people through work. That point we will see later. So finally, I want to tell you one very important thing. What is exactly management? When I talk about management, I'm actually talking about getting things done. How do you get things done? How do you get things done? What all things? Maybe it could be a production, it could be a transportation, it could be sending goods, it could be selling goods, it could be advertisement, it could be, there are so many functions in the organization. All these functions cannot be performed unless and until you actually start using resources. So you're supposed to use resources and get things. And suppose early morning or morning in the office, when manager comes to office, the first important thing that he has to look at is basically, do I have resources to get things done? Do I have resources to get things done? So branch manager or any manager who's there in the company, his main job is to make sure the things that are supposed to be done, should be done with the help of resources. So I came to an understanding, be very informal in the online classes. In online classes, if you are rigid, if you and me are very formal, it will not help each other. So be very informal, make sure that you listen to these classes properly and try to understand. If in case any concept you could not follow, just go back, rehear once again. That will help you a lot. This is in your hands, right? And you be as better as you can informal. So don't try to be a rigid student, just like you are sitting in the classroom, so much of discipline is there, etc., etc. I also will not behave in that way. Okay, be very careful. Understood? So what is management? Getting things done. How do you get things done? With the help of resources. What resources normally manager uses? Men, material, machines, money. Men, material, machines, money. With the help of these resources, what all activities? With the help of these resources, what all activities company is supposed to perform will be performed with the help of man. So manager is basically to ensure activities which are regularly to be done with the help of existing resources. Are you all clear with this? Yes? Very good. Now, since it's a revision, I don't want to spend more time on just going about explaining so many things in management, because management is a vast concept. It takes a hell lot of time to explain all those things. Okay? Everybody clear? Now, next one. Classical economists' view of management. First of all, economies will be of two types, boss. Classical, neoclassical, three types. Classical, neoclassical, modern economists. I repeat, economists can be of how many types? Three types: classical, neoclassical, modern. Classical economists believe what? So basically, in your syllabus, they have given what is the opinion of classical economists, classical means old economists who honestly believe in automatic adjustment in the economy. That and all economics concept, I don't want to discuss that here. So traditional economists, first economists, old economists. Okay, what these classical economists will say? Classical economists have given five important variables. Understand this. So if in case you are writing an objective type question paper, you must be very careful about this. First one, you see, according to Hicks, it says the process of getting things done. Just now I said, management is about getting things done with the help of others. That's what the first point it says. So management definition given by classicals is very clear. So management is nothing but there are day-to-day activities that are supposed to be conducted in the company. These day-to-day activities cannot be conducted unless and until we have resources available. If resources available such as men, material, machines, money, etc., then we can get things done. So management main objective is to ensure getting things done with the help of resources. That is first point, Hicks. Next one, you see, it is a process which cooperative group direct actions towards common goals. It involves techniques, it involves group of managers, Understood? Yes. So basically it says management is a coordinated activity. I want to tell you in one simple word this second point. Management is a coordinated activity. Coordinated activity in the sense it is not possible for one fellow to do things. It is not possible for one manager to do things. It is possible only with the help of different techniques, different people. So this point clearly says when we use the word techniques, obviously machines, technology is used. When we use the word group of people, there are responsible people who are going to get things done. Understood? Everybody. So four important things it says. Second point, there are activities. So we need resources, we need coordination, we need group of people. Again same, see first point in one line he says management is about getting things done with the help of other people, with the help of people. Second point is management is a coordinated effort where we have a group of people, we have techniques, we have what you call various so various activities, various group of people, and all of these people are going to be having coordination. So basically I want to tell you one thing, management is something which cannot get things done. Management is one thing that cannot get things done unless and until there is a coordination among various people. That's it, that is Massey definition. One more. O'Donnell says management means getting things done through and with people. That's it. So all these definitions, it's very easy. The moment you have a concept knowledge, finding out the solution for this particular question is very easy. Overall, I understand. Okay, sir, there are activities in the company. Okay, there are activities in the company, and there are people in the company. There are resources in the company, and these activities will be conducted with the help of resources and people. I repeat, these activities are conducted with the help of resources and people. So what is management? Finally tell me. Management is all about getting things done with the help of people. Management is all about conducting activities with the help of resources available. Management is all about conducting activities with the help of group of people and with the help of techniques and with the help of coordination, right? So there's a coordination, there are a group of people, there are various techniques, etc., etc. If I'm a manager, I have to ensure daily things getting done. If I'm a leader, I have to motivate people and do the things. That's it. So leader is different. Anyway, separate lesson is there in this. Fourth or fifth lesson we are going to study. Don't, this notes is more than sufficient. This is like I'm giving you in the classroom. That's it. Okay. So how you, when you sit in the classroom, how you actually take the notes down, the same notes I'm giving you from your textbook only. Though CMA textbooks are extraordinary. I'm telling you, compared to all the three professional qualifications, CMA material is awesome. But some places, some phrases, some sentences, some paragraphs are not actually very good. It might take some time for you to understand. So therefore, I condense this in this way. This is more than sufficient. Move on to the next one. Last one, it says, therefore, management is a process by which responsible people, it says process by which responsible people, who are responsible people, we call them as managers in an organization, getting things done through efforts, other people, grouped activities. Overall, we can say management is not about one fellow doing activities effectively. Management is about getting things done with the help of, support of all other people. And it is not only all other people, it is about technology that we use, it is about resources that we use, it is about people that we use, and all these things must have a coordination. If in case manager, if in case one particular person is doing very well but the technology is not good, if in case people are good, technology is good, but the coordination is not there. So if coordination is missing, if people are not good, and machines or technology is not very good, it's very difficult for us to manage the company. That is the point. One reading, last and final one reading you give, that's it. You don't try to go deeper into this, and I'm not leaving any point from your textbook. I'm actually dressing it properly so that you will understand very easily. Okay, so while explanation is going on, focus on the material. Since online training is a different genre of learning, everybody must have found it very difficult to adjust, but there is no option. Until we have a normal situation, we need to get ourselves adapted to this kind of a learning. I hope you will appreciate this, and institutions are making an effort to teach you in this way, so make sure that you focus on this. So one last reading always you give like this. Okay, move on to the next one. So finally, what I come to a conclusion, management is all about getting things done with the help of people, in other words, with the help of resources, with the help of techniques available, and with the help of coordinated effort. All these resources, all these people, all these techniques, if there is no coordination, coordination, cooperation, there's a lot of difference. Cooperation is they have to help each other even though they're not supposed to help each other. Coordination is they're supposed to help each other, there's no option. Like if you look at the college, principal, faculty must have a coordination because faculty must listen to principal. There's no option at all. Just like that. Okay. Next one. There is two stages of management evolution. Focus on this. There are two stages of management evolution. Two stages. One is earlier view. Second thing is modern view. So if they ask you a question, which of the following is the view according to early management in the sense, in the beginning management view was different, modern management is the latest. Okay, so there are some theories basically. So regarding management, what should be the principles of management, what kind of activities we need to consider in management, how management actually takes place, how people are involved, all these things will be discussed in both the views. So basically, I'm coming straight to the question: how many stages of management evolution in the sense how management has come into existence? How management has come into existence? How management exactly came into existence? I hope my English is simple for you. If in case it is not, if any word that I'm using is not really understandable, please do let me know. Okay, I repeat, there are two stages of management evolution. What is evolution? How management came into existence? How did it come into existence? Management came into existence, and this management evolution is explained in two ways: old and new, early and modern. Okay, old view mein there are some theories called scientific management theories, administrative management theories. Understood? Human relations. So if they ask you a question, administrative management, scientific management, human relations management theories have come from which approach? Got my point? In the beginning, management had been explained with the help of some theories called scientific management theories, administrative management theories, human relations management theories. So those theories we're going to study in this lesson itself briefly. Understood now? So that they are very difficult. If you don't, first of all, sir, oldest view of management is what? Oldest view may there were three very important theories: scientific, administrative, human relations. I repeat, oldest view may we have got how many? Three important views. One is scientific, administrative, human relations. Very clearly I gave you in the sentence, right? Second important, the latest one, we have got scientific, we have got administrative, we have got systems approach, contingency approach, etc. That means modern approach did not deny old approach. Modern approach did adopt. Modern approach did follow what was explained by old people. At the same time, they've added some masala. In the sense, it's like, sometimes you don't reject your father, but you will add some additional thing what your father said, right? Same thing. You don't reject your teacher, but you will always add, so teacher, it is better if this is also there. Same thing. Like modern people have not neglected the significance of old. This is very important thing. Modern people have not neglected, have not ignored the old principles of management. At the same time, even after considering, means even after taking into consideration old principles such as scientific management, administrative management, human relations management, they have also considered something called new systems. That is what? Science approach, systems approach, contingency approach. This, just remember the words. We are going to have discussion about all these things. Okay, once again, now quickly, you see now how simple it is for you to prepare for the examination. Number one, management is all about getting things done. How do you get things done? You will get things done with the help of resources. These resources are basically men, material, machines, and money. So with the help of existing resources, if a person is able to get things done, with the help of technology that he has, with the help of people that he has, etc., etc. But it is not about having resources, it is not about having human resources, it is not about having techniques, it is about having coordination. If there isn't any coordination between these three things, it's going to be very difficult for any of us to get things done. So basically, we ensure that activities which are regularly supposed to be conducted are conducted without any disturbance. Am I clear? So definitions once you just go through. Next one, there are two approaches of management. One is old one. Old one includes scientific, administrative and human relations management. The new one did not neglect, did not ignore completely the old one, did not ignore completely the old one. They took into consideration of old philosophies. At the same time, they also had developed something called systems approach, contingency approach, etc. So the examiner would want you to find, sir, modern management mein kya hai? What is there in modern management? What is there in early management? Everybody clear? Yes. I'm deliberately not using Telugu language. Please, I don't want to spoil you, because this kind of subjects, if you don't understand every sentence in English, because you're not going to see question paper in Telugu medium, so you will face problems. So make sure you get used to the language terms that are used by the teacher, so that it's very easy to find out the question and answer also, because you heard in English. If you have heard in local language, it's very difficult. If in case, that's why I'm repeating several times. Next one, there's a concept called whether management is a science or an art. Whether management is a science, or if in case it's an objective type question, you will have whether management is a science or art. So basically there are two important in every subject. In the introduction chapter you will find whether this subject is a science or art. Even in economics in the beginning, whether nature of economics you must have studied, is it a science or an art, etc. See guys, science is nothing but a systematic body of knowledge. Scientific principles they are true, and they have been proven true, and they are applicable everywhere. And scientific principles can be easily experimented. If I say something in physics, I can definitely show that with the help of experimentation this is true. All scientific principles are experimented. Science will always talk about cause and effect. Science is a systematic body of knowledge. Science will talk about cause and effects. So science is basically about something which is already existing, something which is true. It doesn't talk about assumptions. Whereas in economics, when you read the law of demand, you must have studied law of demand is based on certain assumptions, law of supply is based on certain assumptions. Like this, every subject will have some assumptions, but when it comes to science, assumptions are very less. Okay, now we are talking about management. Management is about getting things done with the help of resources, etc., etc. We studied. Very nice. Is it science? That means, does it have, obviously, I can't get things done unless and until I know the method of doing it done, right? Method of getting it done. Unless and until I have a procedure, suppose the moment manager comes to office, the moment production manager comes to office, he should have a technique, right? He should have a knowledge, right? He should have some theory, some step-by-step process. Do you really think it's easy to do anything without having a knowledge about it? So having knowledge is very important, right? So basically, management has certain characteristics which will reflect it as a science. Management also has certain characteristics which will reflect it as a science. Basically, we're going to study three important things. Number one, whether management is a science. Does it contain a knowledge? Yes. Most of the managers perform their operations. You cannot randomly do anything, right? You will always have a process. Okay, first this, next this, next this, next this. So there is a systematic knowledge. There's a systematic theory. There's a systematic way. There's a systematic process. You can't just go and switch on the machine and start producing here. Even in sales marketing also there is a systematic way. So when we do get things done, or when we do things, we don't simply do them randomly. We will always apply a process. Step by step process we'll apply, right? First, second, third, like this. So management has the characteristics of science. So in every point, what you're supposed to understand, what is about science and in which way it is related to management. Second important thing is whether management is an art. Art is about application of knowledge. So science is about having knowledge. Science is about knowing something. Science is about verifying causes and effects. Science is about truthful things, whereas art is about implementing it. And the next important thing is professional. So management has three important things. Is it a science? Is it an art? Is it a profession? Those 3 points, definitely you can expect a question on this. Okay, slowly go along with me, and when I'm reading the points, make sure you read and underline if in case you have taken a printout. Okay. Everyone, no confusion here till now. So I said management is about getting things done. This we do with the help of resources. With the help of resources, and we need a coordination of all the resources, then we get things done. So management is an art of getting things done, right? How to do, etc. The next important thing is old view. We have got scientific management, we have got administrative management principles, we have got human relations. Modern view, we have got science approach, we have got systems approach, we have got contingency approach, besides taking old views. Okay, so modern people did not ignore, did not neglect previous theories, but they explain something extra. That is one thing, right? Next, management is management is science. First of all, in simple word, you need to understand whether management is a science or not. First of all, you need to know what is a science. Science is a systematic body of knowledge. Science is based on truthful knowledge, etc., etc. Look at this first. Universally accepted. See, physics is accepted everywhere. So the physics which is there in Japan could not be different. The physics which is there in India cannot be different. Chemistry cannot be different. Whatever science that we have, whatever truth that we have, if sun rises in the east, it has to rise in the east everywhere, right? I mean to say, most of the scientific principles are applicable everywhere. Similarly, if I have applied, suppose if I have a technique of managing my people in India, in Hyderabad, the same technique I must be able to use in America, right? If I'm able to use one technique in production department, I must be in a position to use the same technique in management department also, no? Or other departments also. Understood? That means just like scientific principles are applied everywhere, just like scientific principles are useful everywhere, management principles are also useful everywhere. That is how, best example, there is an MNC company. An American company has come to Hyderabad high-tech city and working here. So the management principles that are applied in America, they are applying in Hyderabad. Do you think they're not, in fact, they're more successful? Similarly, the technique that we have used in Hyderabad is also used in other places like Vijayawada or any other place. So the same management, I mean to say, when I have a principle, when I have a method of getting things done, if I'm, suppose one method I'll tell you, in education industry, since I belong to education industry. Let's say SR Nagar branch, I'm conducting exams. After conducting exams, before conducting exams, I'm also conducting study hours. So I conducted study hours, I also conducted exams. Then without conducting study hours, I saw exams results are not very good. After conducting study hours, when I conducted exams, results are very good. So this method I followed. So to get good results, I have to conduct study hours, I have to make them write exams. Very nice. The same principles if I implement in Vishakhapatnam. Understood? Will it give a results? Yes, it will give results. Maybe it may not give results in Australia, but even there also, their education system is different. If their education system is like us, there also results will come. Trust me, okay? So my question is, if I could implement a technique here, which is successful here in giving a results or in getting things done, I will be able to use the same technique in other places as well. That also happens in management. So just like scientific principles used in different places, universally applicable everywhere, management also has certain principles. Management also has certain methods, certain techniques, certain principles which are used everywhere. Okay, look at this. It says scientific principles represent basic truth about a particular field. These principles may be applied in all the situations. Understood? Everybody? Management also contains some fundamental principles which can be applied universally, means everywhere. Example, principle of unity command, that means one man, one boss. You understand? Now, final, what is the conclusion? On what basis do you say management is a science? Okay, on what basis do we say management is a science? Yes, just like scientific principles are applicable everywhere. Some of them, I mean, I'm not able to say management is a pure science. Like I told you, the manager behavior of India may not be accepted in Australia as it is, but some principle, that's what it says, but some principles. So if they ask you a question, do you really think that all management principles, just like science, are going to be applied everywhere? No. But some of the management principles, some techniques of management, like I told you, exam study hours, if you go and conduct in America, they will definitely throw you out of the class. Their children are different. Our children are different. Our parents are different, moreover. If any college or a school or a coaching center tells parents saying that we will not conduct exams, we don't want to pressurize students, they will never come to your office again. Understood? So, my question is, just like science, whose principles are applicable everywhere, some of the management principles are also applicable in some situations in some countries. Like that, okay? That is so, management has the element of science, management has the nature of science. Just like scientific principles are applicable everywhere, some of the management principles are also applicable in different situations. That is the point. Understood? Yes, everybody? Awesome. You focus on the material, you don't have to focus on me. Though I'm looking at you, you don't have to focus on me. What is more important is now, in this new method of learning, that is online education, most important thing is you have to focus on this one. Okay? Next one, experimentation and observation. Scientific principles are meant for research and this one, scientific investigation. Management principles are also based on scientific inquiry. That means this clearly says most of the scientific principles are based on experiments. If I say something is there in science, we will experiment. Management also. So this, suppose I have a new technique of controlling people. I have a new technique of controlling people. Let's say I can experiment now. Best example I'll tell you. I want to make my people happy. To make my people happy, number one, promotion. Number one, promotion. Understand? Like number two, giving more salary. Number three, giving facilities. Giving facilities, I can first of all I will give some facilities and see whether they are working or not. I can increase salary and see whether they're working or not. I can promote them and see whether they work or not. Something like this. So certain management principle, just like scientific principles can be experimented, just like scientific principle can be experimented, some of the management principles can also be experimented. You can also get some results. Okay, that is one thing. So be very brief. Okay. Next one, science always will talk about cause and relationship, cause and effect. That means tells you the reason and effect. It tells you the reason and effect. Science is not something which simply tells you. That is the basic difference between God concept and science concept. God concept, we will not show reasons. Effects only will show. But in science concept, we will be able to show causes and effects. Try to understand this. So causes and causes and effects. I mean, for everything, science will give you this is the reason. For everything, science will give you this is the reason or this is not the reason. Just like that, management also will give you, like best example, authority and responsibility. I mean, whether company operations are going to be effective or ineffective is dependent on authority. If a person doesn't have the authority, if a person doesn't take the responsibility, definitely the effectiveness of company will decrease. So what is the reason why companies are not performing? What is the reason why certain companies, certain people are not performing? Because the management is not good. That means if management is supportive, people will be performing very well. If people are supportive, effectiveness of company will increase. So there is a reason for non-performance of company. If in case any company is not really performing very well, if any company is not really performing very well, there could be a reason for it. So management also, we have certain techniques or certain things which might not be responsible for effectiveness. So just like science explains cause and effect, management also explain cause and effect of certain things which are not happening properly. So again, once again I say, uh, this first one, management as a science. Science is a systematic body of knowledge, right? Management has some characteristics of science. First character, just like scientific principles are accepted universally everywhere, some of the management principles are also applicable everywhere. Next, just like science has some experimentation and observation, management principles are also meant for observation and experimentation. Just like science explains about cause and relationship, management also teaches you if a company's effectiveness is not good, there might be a cause for it. So, management also will tell you this is the reason why people are not performing, this is the reason why productivity is not good, this is the reason why quality is not good, this is the reason why so and so is not good. Like this, management will keep explaining you the reasons for non performance of the company. Understood? Suppose if human resource is not working in the company, there might be maybe less salary or less incentive, less facilities, less infrastructure, or management is very rude, or management is not proper, etc. etc. In any company, like Infosys employees are extremely happy, or so and so Wipro company employees are extremely happy because of all these facilities. So that's why why MNC companies will focus on good management, good managers, good facilities, good infrastructure, good technologies, etc. etc. so that the performance of people will increase. So there is a reason for the performance of people like this. Next one, test of validity. I hope you're all following, right? If in case you're not following, simple technique, just go back and hear once again. Okay, and read this material properly. Test of validity and predictability. Scientific principles can be tested. If you want to if you want to know whether so and so scientific principle is true or not, you can test it. So a lot of tests are conducted. And in science, there is one more thing. Looking at the current situation, you can predict what happens next. Prediction is possible in science. Management is something which is related to human beings here. But is it possible? Yes, yes. It says under management, under principle of unity of command. Unity of command means one manager, one boss. Can be tested by comparing two persons, one having single boss, one having too many bosses. Obviously, suppose you are in the company, you are supposed to report to 3 4 managers. Manager A says something, manager B says something, manager C says something. Understood? So obviously employee will get confused. One fine day he'll either break his head, otherwise he'll run off from the company. There is a possibility, right? If you are getting instruction from so many people, PM is saying something, CM is saying something, MLA is saying something, MP says something, obviously you will go mad and break your head, right? Instead, if a team has only one manager, if a team is reporting to one person, if suppose 10 people as a team are reporting to one person, that is a unity of command. If is command unity of command, if commands are coming from one person, if instructions are coming from one person, if orders are coming from one person, then definitely the company employee will be very happy. He knows very clear. So multiple managers controlling multiple people creates a lot of problems. Understood? So there was a test of validity. The performance of people who are controlled by one manager was very high. It was proved in unity of command principle. And the performance of people who are controlled by so many managers is not good. Okay, so just like science has the what you call as something called, we can test it, we can predict it, management to certain extent. So you cannot say any science is a pure science, because science has its own characteristics, management has its own characteristics, but certain principles of management are actually reflecting the features of science. That is one thing. Okay. Understood? So overall, if in case you have an objective type question paper, your question can be in which of the following cases or what points will satisfy that management is a science. Side headings you remember. Number one, manage just like science, which is accepted everywhere, management principles are also accepted everywhere. Next one, just like science, which has the capacity of experimentation, certain management principles can be experimented, right? Just like science explains about causes and effects, management also explains the causes for effect of so and so. Next, just like science can predict things, means prediction in the sense estimating what happens next. Okay, management also can predict. Suppose if you have one manager, we can predict what will happen. If you have got so many managers, we can predict what will happen. So taking these 4 features into consideration, we can say management is not a pure science though, but management has certain principles which actually reflect like a science. So therefore management is partly science. That is how you have to conclude. Okay, all right everybody. Yes. Don't feel monotonous, don't feel bored. Make sure you always have a right infrastructure. You must have a proper phone or a laptop or a desktop, proper headphones. Always use headphones and listen to these classes, and never ever listen to the classes without pen and paper. So make sure you scribble down on the paper something so that you will not feel sleepy first of all. Otherwise you will not show any interest. If you are listening, you listen properly. Otherwise you listen only when you are interested in listening. I'm telling you, because this will unnecessarily, it's a waste of time. You act like you are listening, and for the heck of online classes you nicely switch on and start seeing the teacher. Nothing is going into your mind. There is no use. Okay, once again let's come to from the beginning. Management is what? Tell me, management is what? Management is what? Getting things done. How do you get things done? With the help of resources. Very nice. So overall what we understand, we have activities, we have people, we have what you call techniques, and all these things will coordinate and get things done. That is clear. Very nice. Then how many views we have? Two. Early view, modern view. Early view may what theories we have? Scientific management we have, administrative management we have, human. So if they ask you a question, earlier view may what theories were dominating about management? Scientific, administrative, this one, SAH, remember. Okay, next, modern view may what are there? Apart from considering old things like scientific, administrative, management approach, we have systems approach, we have got contingency approach as well. Okay, next one, management as a science. When it comes to management, whether management is a science or not, whether management is a science or not. Be informal. Okay, informal in the sense you also don't study except water, anything. Drink only water. Okay, don't eat and all those things. Management science is what? Systematic body of knowledge. Management also has some characteristics of science. Everybody clear? Number one, just like scientific principles are accepted everywhere, certain management principles are also accepted everywhere. Clear? Next one, experimentation. Just like scientific things are experimented, management things also experiment. Some theories, some techniques in management are also experimented. Everybody clear? The best example in experimentation, some I said, because some management, when I was teaching in Hyderabad, so situation is like in the classroom, girls, boys will be separated. I want to tell you some principles only, not 100% management principles cannot be experimented in all the places. So when I'm teaching in Hyderabad, in the classroom, no, typical Telugu culture is like we always have girls, boys separate. That to 1 kilometer distance will be there between boys and girls. Even in Bangalore, South India, especially North India, different. I mean, West India, little different. When I went to Hyderabad, when I was teaching in Hyderabad, what happened? When I was teaching in Hyderabad, when I went to Mumbai, so girls and boys were sitting together. I was like, what? So they said this is the fashion here. I said, wow, in my place I won't allow girls and boys sit together. And it's like in the class we have to search where the boys are or where the girls are. When I said I don't like girls boys sitting together, they stopped attending my class. I was like, what? Am I not teaching well? They said, you might be teaching well, but you cannot implement the principle that you have implemented in Hyderabad. Then management told me, Babu sir, it is not possible. Let them sit. Your focus is whether they are listening or not. I had no other option. So my technique which I used, my technique of separating boys and girls in this city has not been implemented or could not be implemented in Mumbai. Because they're like this. All principles of management cannot be implemented everywhere, but some. Understood? Everybody clear? Yes. Okay, so just like science will talk about, for everything science will tell you about cause and effect relationship, just like that we also have something called management principles will also tell you the reason. Suppose if there is no performance in the company, if people are not giving quality, if teacher is not teaching well, definitely there's going to be some problem. What is the reason? Maybe he's not reading the book daily, he's not having proper material, otherwise he's not encouraged, or he's etc. It's like this. For everybody's performance there might be reasons, so management also will give you that. Next thing is, when there are scientific principles we can test them whether they are true or not. just like that, certain management principles, we are going to study in this lesson what all management principles we have. Certain management principles can also be tested to see whether they are good or not. Okay, in this way we can say what management has the characteristics of science. Clear? Yes, it's a revision. Okay. All right, now though it's a revision, I'm not skipping any point. I'm including all the points so that you will have clarity as to what exactly and how exactly question is going to be. Okay, management as an art, I told you. Shall we continue? Yes. Understand slowly. Management is a science in terms of what it's a system. I mean, every management also has a knowledge. When I say art, it's an application of knowledge. Understood this? It's an implementation of knowledge. Having knowledge, there is no use, but it should be implemented. Okay. Now, in every point, so there are totally here also, there are 5 points. In every point, you need to understand in what way management can be called as a art. Okay. Let's see now. Every art requires a practical knowledge. Therefore, learning theory is not sufficient. It is important to know application. So, you know theory and you don't know how to apply, just like Indian education, right? You learn something in the class, when you go to company, you'll put your face pale, you don't know how to do, what to do, etc. etc. This happens. So, if you have a knowledge and you're not able to implement this in practice, there is no use, right? So, similarly, a manager can never be successful by just obtaining degree or diploma in management unless you can write here, unless he implements it or uses it. Understood? So science, art is always about practical knowledge. You learned theory and you should also know where is it going to be used. You learned theory, you should also know where is it going to be used. Everybody clear? If in case you have not learned theory, then anyway you can't do anything. So having theoretical knowledge, applying that knowledge is very important. Management is not only about theory, but it is about every theory that we understood should be able to implement. When I say increasing salary, best example. I'm telling you an example for practical knowledge. Okay, suppose in management we studied one theory. What is that? Increasing salary will increase productivity of employee. Do you really think so? That is not so. I'm telling you. It's not about increasing salary. It's about most of the employees nowadays leave companies not because their salary is less, but because their treatment is very bad. You got my point? Or they don't have promotion, or it is not having good facilities, etc. So salary is just one thing. So now it's like I learned that salary will increase productivity of employee, but unless it is implement, first increase the salary and see how many people will be more happy and start scolding them every day. Do you think they will stay? Not possible like this. So management is also an art. That means it not only have a theory but also will try to implement it. Next one, personal skill. So apart from theoretical skill, look here, apart from theoretical skill, each one has his own style. That means every management should have a personal skill. Suppose I did my MBA. It doesn't, just because I did my MBA, it does not mean I'm going to be successful in management. Understand that point? That means you have a professional skill, you have a knowledge, qualification skill, but you don't know how to use it. So everybody should also know how to handle people. It's not about having, see how many CAs are there and how many CAs are actually successful. How many CMAs are there? How many CMAs are actually successful? Why only few people have become so rich? Why few people are still earning only 30,000-40,000 salary? So that means some people, apart from having professional skill, they also have personal skill. That is what. Every manager will have different style of making things, right? Next, creativity. If you are a manager, this is like management. So this is like manager in management should have what it says, right? Then only. So it's like manager should have a practical knowledge. Manager should have personal skill other than qualification skill. Understood? Create manager should also be creative. If in case he tries to do what is read in the book, if in case he tries to do what is always learnt from the book, and is not using his creativity every time, then nobody will listen to him. Am I clear? Yes, that is one. See, management is a creative in nature. So just like an artist is going to be creative. If you are an artist, you will always be creative, right? Just like an artist being creative, manager also must be very creative. That is one thing. Next one, protection through practice. Look here, every artist becomes more and more proficient through constant practice, regular practice, because you must have heard practice makes a few people at least perfect or man perfect, right? Managers also. That means you cannot simply say everything that is implemented is going to be successful, right? Sometimes certain principles that you have implemented in management might not be successful. Suppose, best example, some manager thinks that once in a week, if employees are taken to a dinner or employees are taken to a lunch or restaurant, people will be very happy. Do you think it is going to be so? You don't know. Sometimes some people will be crazy about lunch. Some people will be more happy if in case you take them once in a month to dinner or restaurants or something. Certain techniques you will have to experiment. It's a trial and error. Okay, just like artist will try so many pictures and he will be successful in one, management also has to go for trial and error. That is one thing. Goal oriented, just like artists will have a goal, management also should have a goal. So obviously, if I'm a manager, suppose if I want to manage a coaching center, then I'm conducting study hours, I'm conducting exams, I'm giving material, I'm revising, etc., etc. So many things I'm doing. All these things I'm doing because I know one thing: I want to get a rank, I want one of the student to secure rank all India, etc., etc., right? So just like that, every manager has to have a goal. So artist will have a goal, so manager also will have a goal. You understand? Now, taking these things into consideration, we can come to a conclusion that management is a art as well. Okay, look at this once, please, all of you. I say, just like art requires a practical knowledge, manager should have a practical knowledge. Just like artists need a skill, every manager should have his own skill. Just like artists should be creative, new in nature, manager also should be creative while doing or using resources. Just like what you call artist doing a practice, lot of practice, manager also has to make a lot of practice. Just like artist has a goal to do something, and manager also should have some determined goals, then only we can say that is art. So finally, I want to conclude, management is all about getting things done. Management, certain characteristics of science. Management has certain characteristics of art. What characteristics you have to remember here? What kind of characteristics? In case of science, what kind of characteristics we have? Just like scientific principles applicable everywhere, management is also applicable everywhere. Just like scientific principles are experimented, observed, etc., this is also observed everywhere. Just like scientific principles have cause and effect relations, this is also applicable everywhere. And just like science can predict things, management, certain things can predict everything. Okay, just like artist, so similarly management as an art, just like artist has a practical knowledge, manager also has a practical, should have a practical knowledge. Just like artist should have some personal skill other than degree, etc., etc., manager also should have. Just like artist is a creative, manager also has to be creative. Okay, just like artist will have lot of practice, manager also should have lot of practice. Just like artist has a goals, manager also should have goals to be achieved. So therefore, based on this, we can come to a conclusion that management is also like an art. Overall, let's conclude here. It says management is both science and art. Is both science and art? True or false question? And management combines both science and art features. It is considered as science because it's a knowledge. Okay, and it is called art because it has certain skills. And science provides knowledge, art deals with application. Overall conclusion is given here. Read these points. I mean, C and D, if you say, it is science because it has a knowledge, it is art because it requires certain skills, and being a science, management provides knowledge, being an art, management applies things as well. That is the point. Maybe in the examination point of view, one question could be coming, not many questions. Our 30-40 minutes lecture will be valued only for one question, but don't ignore, because this basics, if you don't have, you will find it very difficult. You will find my future lessons very difficult. So you must be very, very careful. Okay. Now the last but not the least, we have something called profession. Whether management is a profession. So what is science? Systematic body of knowledge. Do you think management has the characteristics of science? Yes, we have studied. Example, universal applicability. What is art? Application. Do you have the characteristics of art in the management? Yes, we have applicable skill, creativity, etc. That's what side readings you have to focus more. Okay, but every side reading, when you start reading, if you simply read the side reading, this kind of a subject will make you sleep nicely. Such a deep sleep you will have when you read this subject. If you don't know the real word in practical picture, this kind of subject will make everybody fall asleep, I'm telling you. So make sure you are very clear with what you're learning, what you're actually understanding. Every term you must be very, very clear. Okay, if in case you are actually not comfortable, that is not the time to listen to the classes. You must be mentally, physically ready with all the infrastructure to listen to the classes. Then you will be able to concentrate. Okay, profession means what? It says specialized activity. Like you see, CMA is a profession, so it has a specialized activity. CA is a profession, it has a specialized activity. CS is a profession, it has a specialized activity, right? Specialized activities in the sense, specialized activity in the sense, every profession, like law is a specialized activity, CA is a specialized activity, CMA, like everything. Okay, so it again, systematic knowledge should be there, proper method is there. CA has a proper method, CMA has a proper method, proper training is there. It is a scope for creating post consultants. I mean, when I'm CA, I've got some, I can become consultant of so and so. It can form an association of consultants like CA body, CA firm, CMA firm, CS firm, etc. Code of conduct will be there. I mean, every CMA, every CA can work only according to the institute guidelines. So when you are a professional, suppose let's say you are a CMA, you have a systematic body of knowledge, you have a method of doing cost audit, you can be a consultant for companies, you can form a group of consultants, and you will follow code of conduct. Code of conduct means what to do, what not to do, will be given by your institute, and you will also respond to, I mean, you will also respond to the needs of a so and so company, etc., etc. So just like that is management profession. That's what it says. See, though management does not satisfy all the characteristics, but some attempts are made that management is also profession. Just like CA, it may not be a professional body, but it has some characteristics of professional bodies. So management has certain characteristics of profession, management has certain characteristics of art, management has certain characteristics of science. Indirectly, I wanted to conclude, management is not a pure science, management is not a pure profession, management is not a pure art, but management is just an art of getting things done with the help of what? Resources that we have. I hope you understood this, and keep rehearing once again if in case you had any confusion. This is just an introduction, then the real structure starts in the next concept. Have a good day, take care, bye.